here in the study. The book of Ephesians this morning, and he tells a very famous passage or well-known passage: children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. It really is the only commandment that we give directly to children in the New Testament. And so to obey is what they're called to do. And of course, then he goes down and he says, and you fathers provoke not your children to wrath, but bringing them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. I don't think he's saying that mothers have no part in that by any means. I think he's admonishing fathers to step in and to avoid the pitfall that would be a tendency of fathers to provoke to wrath, to be too heavy-handed, to be too harsh with them. I think parents as a whole, we can be a little bit reactionary when it comes to our kids. We look at our children when they're 5 or 6 years old and they're maybe toddlers and they're in the terrible twos and they're pitching a fit, and we think, holy cow, where in this world did this kid come from? You know, he's just like his dad, or he's just like his mom, and he's coming from your side of the family, he's coming from your side of the family. Well, he's coming from his own wicked heart, her own wicked heart, because what we have on our hands is a sinner who needs a Savior. And just as you and I, in our walk of salvation and sanctification, are not being made like Christ by making a list of behaviors that we have to correct, but our sanctification is the result of our relationship with Christ. So to our kids, we want to point them to a relationship with Christ, constantly pointing them to their need for the gospel, that the reason you act the way you have acted is because you were a sinner and you need a Savior. And it is only Jesus that will make you loving and peaceful and joyful. And it's only Jesus that can conform you to his image. And he is working in you that he might work through you. And so pointing them to the Christ. I think if we're not careful, we can look at any one moment in our kid's life and think, oh my goodness, the direction they're heading right now is going to run them off a cliff. And, you know, my teenagers are mad at me. And that's like the definition of being a teenager, isn't it? Is that we're mad, and we're mad at our parents, and you were mad at your parents when you were a teenager. And we look at that direction and we think, oh no, they're doing so bad. And yet the next minute you look over here and they're doing something that impresses you, and we can run this gambit of where our kids are going to go. Let me just say this: don't keep putting toothpick in the cake. Let the cake cook. Let's trust the fact that Christ is in them, and he's doing a work in them, and he will do a work through them. Let us model the fact that we need Christ on a daily basis. Let us tell them how much they need Christ on a daily basis. I'm not saying we don't correct behavior. I think we have to correct behavior, especially when it becomes destructive to them or others around them. But I am saying that in the correcting of our behavior, it's not just don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, but walk with Christ. Let Christ be your source. Point them to Jesus every day. You know, if you ever wonder where kids get their bad behavior, all we have to do is look in the mirror. And if you ever wondered what the hope for that is, what we need to do is look to the cross. I hope this will be an encouragement to you. God bless you. We'll see you next time in the study. Thanks.